Welcome in. Time for another SDH special. I'm Jason Longshore. This week, I was joined by Madison Cruz as we sat down with one of our favorite interviews of people at Atlanta United, somebody that we've talked to quite a bit over the years, Jay Fortune. The midfielder has been out injured for quite a while. He has worked his way back into game action with Atlanta United too, and this weekend, for the first time in over 9 months, he is off the injury report for the first team. We had a chance to talk to him about his whole progression from injury to recovery, and here's our conversation with Jay Fortune. How are you? How has it been kind of getting back into the normal routine now?
It's good. I think one thing I'll say is I missed it.
Yeah.
That's for sure. The good, the bad, the ugly. Um, it's it's something that it was a long time, and you really realize how much you enjoy doing this. And now that I'm back doing it again, I can't complain about much.
When you look back at just the recovery aspect of it, and what did you maybe learn about yourself dealing with all of that, and how is it helping you now?
Um, One thing I'll say is while doing this recovery, while talking about how the footballing side of it would be afterwards, it was always a tough conversation to have. Obviously, doing two surgeries and stuff like that isn't easy. So I think I'm somebody who mentally is always going to give my best effort in everything. Showing up every day wasn't easy doing the work that was being done. Didn't always want to do it. Didn't want to do the same exercises, or some days couldn't do what was asked of me. But still showed up every day and gave it my best effort, no matter what it was. And I think I give myself a little bit of credit for that, as well as I mentioned earlier, knowing how much I really do enjoy playing the sport and doing what I do.
Was there like a day or a moment that you remember where it started to feel normal again? Whether it's part of recovery, whether it's part of like when you're back out with the team, was there a time where it's like, okay, this is what I've been missing up to this point?
I think first day jogging was kind of like the first day of feeling like an athlete again.
Yeah.
It was it was a long ways down the line, and it felt great. It wasn't the quickest jog, it wasn't the fastest, but I think the next 2 days, like I just randomly just started smiling, or I would watch a video of myself jogging over and over again because it had been a very long time since I had done that. I think that was one of the first moments, but I think the first day touching the ball and putting boots on and getting some touches was probably the first day of saying, this is the feeling that I missed. It wasn't anything too quick. It wasn't anything too crazy. It was very simple, light touches. But at the end of the day, it was really fun doing that again.
When you look at the process too of recovery, I know we had talked about it, especially in your press conference before. But like, how important was that support system, especially with your family, with your dad, with your brother, and even Matt as well too? Like, how important were they in those moments where maybe you needed that extra push, or you felt like, okay, like I really don't want to do this? Like, how important were they in those moments for you during recovery?
Yeah, it was huge. I think they were really influential in the standpoint of understanding what words to say at the right times. Um, it was very easy for anybody to just say, "Oh well, you gotta do what you gotta do, show up again." They picked their words really really wisely. It was very encouraging, and at the same time understanding the process that I went through. I have a brother who went through injuries. He understood it. Um, he understands it still to this day. Of like, days aren't gonna feel great. Days aren't gonna feel too bad as long as you're honest with the trainers and they know what's going on in your head and how you're feeling. It helps. And I think another thing too is when I leave here and I go home, trying to not talk about it too much on those days that aren't too great was key. Just to try and get my mind away from it. And they were really good at just understanding where I was throughout the week. If it was a good day, the energy was always good. The vibes were high. We talk about it. If it was not so great, it was a simple conversation of just letting me speak what was on my mind and move on to the next day.
For you, mentally as well, during those moments, what were some things that you would do to maybe help get yourself out of that rut? If you were feeling down like that, what were some things that you would do to help get yourself back on track and really get back focused and pushing forward in recovery?
Yeah, I think one of the big things for me was video games during that
Right.
time period. And I think not just video games, but being able to play video games with friends that I have.
Absolutely.
It's kind of like chilling with friends, whether because going outside wasn't always the easiest thing to do. So using the opportunity to talk with them, and you might not even be focused on the video game itself. It's just the ability to talk with them and have laughs and have good times. Was great. Hung out with some friends at the house, little things like that. And then also too, I mean, I started to try and just pick up one or two things during that time being injured. Tried to work on some Spanish stuff. Obviously, um, throughout my time here with Atlanta, it's had a lot of teammates that spoke Spanish, not the greatest with English, and it's something that I want to try to get better at. And just having those different things to distract me from what was going on those not so great days was great.
Were you able to kind of watch games and stay connected to it that way, or was that difficult for you during that time?
Um, I watched a lot of games during
Okay.
that time. I was at all the home games that we had. Watched all the away games. I will admit there was a couple times where I did zone out.
Yeah.
Just like not not like anything was bad. It's just like sometimes it was just like I watched a lot of football, but there were other days too where I went back and I watched games from last year when I was playing before the injury
Yeah.
countless times. I think I could tell you the build up to that Cincinnati goal that I scored off the top of my head like it was nothing with how many times I've seen it. But um, yeah, I watched quite a bit because also too, I mean these are my guys too,
Yeah.
and when you're here, it's not just about me; it's about them as well, and being able to support them was something that I wanted to be able to do, and not just have it always be a sour moment or a sad moment. It's just wanted to try and keep things normal as possible, and that came with watching the games and trying to support them along the way.
the the situation over the last 9 months now has been a lot. I mean, it's a lot to take in. There's been comings, goings, a lot of change. For you being kind of in the situation you've been in, being out injured and with rehab and getting back into the flow, just how has it been with that whole process of people coming and going and the club being in a different place?
Yeah, it's always tough. I think when you have coaches that have known you for so long, I say names like Rob Valentino. He's known me for a really long time. He understands me as a person on and off the field, and I think not a lot of people know this about me, but I might be quiet on one day, and it's not because I'm in a bad mood or anything. It's just usually I'm just a quiet person sometimes, and people like Rob will understand that that's nothing. And when you have a new set of people, a new set of staff, it takes a little bit to for them to understand that a little bit. So those are changes that you go through, and it's not an issue or anything like that. It just takes time. And when it comes to on the field, I've had multiple coaches during my time here, and there's always been moments of ups and downs with some of the coaches that I've
Mm-hmm.
had, and nothing too bad or nothing that's alarming. But for me, I'm just somebody who wants to show up, train, work hard, go home, play on a weekend, and that's it. I don't want any other extra issues or anything like that. So for me, when we have a new set of coaches now, and wasn't able to really be during the preseason process, and which is tough. And you come back from an injury where you're not the same, you're not at the same level as you were before the injury. So you got to try and catch up and get back to that level and show to the coaches who you are as a player, which isn't the easiest thing to do, but it's a challenge that I've accepted that I'll have, and I'm willing to take head on because, like I said, I just want to show up, train, play, and do it all again every week. So it's definitely a challenge, and it's not one that I have an issue with. It's just ready to just put my head down and work to get towards it.
I want to go back to the twos match. Your first time back as well. That first 45. I'll have two for you. One, when you first stepped out onto the field in Athens, I mean, what were the emotions going through you right now, especially stepping onto the field, getting ready to compete for the first time in 9 months, and then also too afterwards getting to see players like Tristan there in the stands supporting as well. I mean, what were you feeling on that day?
I think I mentioned this, but I've been really nervous for two games that I could say like stood out to me. First one was my first year against Columbus playoffs away. Um, Probably one of my first starts all season, and the second one was probably this game that I played in. And I remember walking out. Uh, there was a little bit of anxiety, nerves, which are I was expecting to have, but I don't know how it always happens. Like I've been nervous for plenty of games, but usually by the time once the teams are lined up and the national anthem plays, it kind of just goes away.
Yeah.
So in the build up to the game, there definitely was, and I tried to keep myself as calm as possible and not to take away from the moment that this is my first time on the field and how long, and being able to look out into the stands and see my family there, mom, dad, brother, the staff that has helped me get to where I am today, um, teammates like Tristan, like you said, like I think it just goes to show like what we have here in Atlanta and what I have here as a family is something that I'm extremely grateful for, and uh, wouldn't trade it for anything really, because that's they had no business being out there. They didn't have to be, and the fact that they did, I was really grateful for it.
What has Tata and the staff kind of asked of you right now to get ready to contribute to the first team?
Um, just get back to myself, try and be myself as quickly as possible. When it comes to training, just try and get around, get the fitness back, and try and get back on the ball as much as possible. Feel comfortable again, doing the things that I was doing beforehand, and from there, just more and more things will come. But for right now, it's just trying to get back to as close to the level that I can get to before.
It feels like this midfield structure that the first team's playing with right now, it's a little different than what we've seen here in the past, but it feels like it really will suit you perfectly to be able to get forward into those attacking areas and impact the game in the attacking third. Seeing the way that Tata wants the team to play, does that excite you?
Yeah, I'm I'm a player who loves a team that keeps the ball, and he that's what he wants for us to keep the ball, and when it's time to go forward, we go, and when it's time to keep it, we keep it, and press to go get it back quickly, and all those things are things that I enjoy doing. Um, I've watched the first 3 or 4 games, and there's plenty of moments in the games where you can see the correct ideas, wanting to do the right things. It's just about finalizing actions offensively and defensively. And I believe that with the players that we have and the way that he wants to play, that once we understand what's going on and get the rhythm going properly, it can be a good year for us.
And then this past week and a half, it's kind of an interesting time with the international break, but you guys really haven't had that many people away, and you've been able to just kind of put in the work for time without a game last weekend. How important do you think that is in really getting across that idea of how he wants to play?
It's good. You know, like you said, in the past we've used to have a lot of players that would be gone for international duty, and this week and a half has been a lot of work, which is great for me because, like I said, it allows for me to one help get my fitness levels up, and at the same time better understand uh, the system that is he's asking for, because it's one thing to see it and hear it in film, but to be on the field and doing it is another thing. And I believe that I'm capable of doing it, and I think that this week and a half training has been really helpful for not just me but for the team to get extra reps in, and I think this weekend will be a very good way to see how it went. And I'm confident that once everybody comes back and we have the full team together, that we can go on and get the 3 points this weekend.